Also, how is that not a penalty against the Coyotes? Says Petster. I mean, yeah, right. But you can't leave it in the hands of the referees. You gotta win it. You gotta win the game, man. Don't be handed the game. You know, you can't count on refs for anything. So don't win your games by, you know, one goal, just barely hanging on. You know what I mean? Be dominant. Sorry. You have to find a way to own people, get in their heads to the point where they're fearing you. Nobody fears Toronto. Nobody in the league. Nobody. Not the bottom teams, not the top teams, nobody. Nobody fears Toronto, and it's because they're always capable of slipping it up, right? It's part of their dynamic right now. You know, and you hope that they try to level that out in time for the playoffs. You hope that they try to be on the top side of things, but the reality is that's where they're at. You know? Their highs are very high and their lows look very low. So, you know, ride the roller coaster. Who knows where it ends? Ultimately, right, if it ends up here and somehow gets up to that cup, no one will care how they did it. Like, if they had won that game tonight, would I have cared about how they did it? Not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't have cared one bit. So, that's kind of how it goes. It's a business of wins, right? You got to win them, and if you're winning them, nobody questions how. So, find a way, Leafs. I guess they should have scored 5, right? And the other one, 3 of them, I think there was 3 of them in front of him. 3 of them in front of Mrazek. And it's like, yeah, he probably saw it by the end, but really, though, you know what I mean? 3 guys and no Leaf before him blocks that shot. They all moved out of the way. Like, they stood right in front of it till the very last second, and then instead of blocking it, they all went whoop, and they parted like the Red Sea, man. You know, great. All right, well, you stood there. The goalie thinks you've got their back, and no, you don't. You just bailed on him. Like, so some goalies are better at saving those shots. I get it, but you can't ask every goalie to be Vasilevsky. You can't ask every goalie to be one of the top 2 or 3 in the league. They can't all be that good. Like, would you ask everyone else in the NHL to be as good as Gretzky when he was playing? Is anybody really saying that to their players? Why aren't you as good as Gretzky? You know what I mean? I think people forget that about goalies. The top 2 or 3 in the league are usually guys that, like, they have it. They have that thing that's something special that causes them to see the puck better than most. You know? They're built for it. You can't ask every goalie in the league to be that good. It's impossible. So I think people just, as an overall thing, just need to chill out on goaltending. Just give it up, man. There was nothing wrong with these guys when Toronto got a hold of them. You know it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Right? There was nothing wrong with these 2 goalies when we got a hold of them. In fact, they started putting up big numbers and looking real good. Goalies are so hot cold. Yeah, well, I think the team in front of them is so hot cold, man. Like, you could make a case that for some reason there's a mojo or an aura going around these goalies where they're making their players feel uncomfortable long before the goals start going in against them. I don't know. Maybe that is going on off, you know what I mean, off camera, stuff that we can't see. But I'm telling you, it looks to me like, I'm telling you, when the team is inconsistent in front of them, the goalies are going to be inconsistent because the difference in the chances they give up when they're bad compared to the chances they give up when they're good are miles apart, man. You know what I mean? It's not like they're an elite team, and when they give up chances, they're like what a good team would give up, right? They're an elite team, and then when they give up a chance, it's as bad as, like, you know what I mean, a bottom-feeding team would give up. Like, how do you go from that to that in a single play? In 1 minute, you look like you're a dominant force, and then in the next minute, you're like, how did you even make that mistake? A blind backhand to nobody, and now they're on a 2-on-1 going the other way? You know what I mean? Like, that's a bonehead mistake. That's a bonehead mistake. And yet, they'll do something like that. Guys like Willie Nylander and stuff. This is not no chumps. These are very talented players. They'll do something like that. And you're like, how are you this good and that dumb? At times, you know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? So, I don't know. I think the team's just very emotional in front of them. I think they're up and down, man. So, if they're going to be up and down, their goalie's going to keep being up and down. It's just that nobody's got patience for goalies to be up and down. I don't know what this fascination is that's come across in hockey, where it's either forwards' problems for not scoring enough or goalies' faults and they need to be traded because they're obviously horrible goalies now. Like, goalies are reflected by the team in front of them too. It works both ways. Like, yeah, a really bad goalie can tank a really good team. If you gave Colorado 2 of the worst goalies in the NHL right now, I don't even know who they would be, but just put 2 names in there. You gave them to Colorado. Watch the difference it'll make. They're not winning a cup if that's the case, right? Like, goaltending is that important, but at the same time, like, it goes both ways, right? A goalie can tank a team, but a team can tank a goalie, man. And when the choice is to do something simple to fix the problem, spread out amongst 4 or 5 people, you know, or a very elite ask of trying to ask someone who's very good to become elite, that's a huge ask. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you just focus on the thing you can change easily? Like, starting right now, we can tie up sticks. Starting right now, we can play shoulder to shoulder in front of our own net. Starting right now, we can either block the shots or get long out of the way so that the goalie can see it before the shot has even left the stick. Like, give him some time to see it. Don't just bail on it last second. You're not Neo in the Matrix, right? You're not doing this stuff. What is that? Okay? All right? Either get out of the way long enough that your goalie can see it, or block that sucker. So, figure it out. I hope they do. I think they will. I would say Flip Mrazek at a second, and Prospect maybe first. Fleury at 50% retained. See, but like, Divas, you know what I mean? As much as, like, I see that being a very fair trade, that would be all right thing to do. You know what I mean? Who's to say that they're going to say yes to that? Who's to say that Fleury's guys would want to give him up for that? You know what I mean? You don't know what they're really going to ask. And the asking price you might hear about one team may not be applicable to your team. You know what I mean? It's totally possible that, like, the team with the player like Fleury, that's got the bargaining chip, I mean, they're going to say, Toronto, oh yeah, we want this and this from you because we think you might do it, is what they're really thinking. And this team over here, we'll give you like this and this. They make the deal a little bit better because they know that team doesn't really have a lot to work with. And if they have a player that they want back bad enough, then they make that happen somehow, you know? So the asking price is not the same from team to team. So it's like, how do we even speculate trades and stuff, you know? Like, more power to you guys if you guys can figure it out right on. But for me, I just don't have the brain capacity to handle it. You know what I mean? All the variables, all the stuff I don't know. It's too much. It's too much, you know? All right, guys, well, I'm going to head out of here, all right? Thanks, as always, for coming by. Right? Sorry I couldn't read the chat on the bigger screen tonight. We'll make everything work better next time. But thanks for always being so patient with me, and I'll see you after the next one, okay? I guess that's Sunday. Right? Sunday. So maybe we'll do a game night or something over the weekend, all right? Peace!